are your notes for Red Chapter 12.4, Theoretical Probability. Your essential question is, give an example of a fair experiment, and then give an example of an unfair experiment. Okay? Now, theoretical probability is the probability you've always done. Okay? It's what you think should happen. Theoretical theory is an educated guess. It's what you think should happen whenever you did a probability experiment. Now remember, probability is the number of ways, probability, I have to sound it out every time. Probability is the number of ways an event is what you want to happen. Like, for example, heads on a coin. If you're flipping it, that's the event, getting heads. An event occurs over, oh, wait a minute. This is theoretical, so it's not that it actually occurs. An event can occur. I can't spell today. Can occur, that's your key word, can, over total outcomes. Total possible outcomes. Okay? And it's written as a fraction. It can also be changed into a decimal or a percent. So, for example, if you were to flip a coin, this is my quarter, I flip it, and I get tails. My only other option was heads. So, my probability for heads would have been 1 out of 2, meaning there's one option of heads, 2 total options. Tails is 1 out of 2 because there's 1 tails on a coin and 2 outcomes. If I were to roll a dice, actually this is a die, 1 is a die, or if you're in state testing, it is a fair number cube. If I were to roll this, I have one of 6 options. I have a 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Those are my choices. Okay? Each one can appear once. There's only one of those on a die. Unless you got some crazy looking die that's all messed up. And out of the possible total outcomes is 6. So my theoretical probability of any of these happening is 1 out of 6. Now the cool thing about this is you can actually combine these. For example, a probability might ask you, what's the probability of me rolling an even number? So then you have to think, well, what's an even? Well, the even would be a 2 or a 4 or a 6. Well, if I wanted the probability of an even number, that's 1, 2, 3 ways that can happen. So I'd say 3 out of 6. And this is the probability of an even. This is how they write it. P, and then in parentheses, this is the outcome you want. And it's 3 out of 6. But you got to reduce this. Okay? Make sure you reduce it, and you'll get to 1 half. Okay? Which makes sense. Half the numbers on the die are even, the other half are odd. Okay? Now, the next thing you want to know about is called a complement, or the opposite. The complement is the opposite of things happening. So, for example, the probability of getting an even is 1 out of 2, or 3 out of 6. Its complement would be the other things of it not happening. Okay? So let's look at one that's a little different here. Let's take a look. What if we have a spinner? We're going to draw this baby in full color here today. So here's my spinner. There we go. We got 8 sections. That one's blue. And that one's blue. Call that one blue. Call this one green. And that one green. And then we'll make this one red, and that one red. And we'll make the last one black. And so there's my spinner. Okay? I'm looking at my spinner. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. So my probability is always going to be something out of 8 because I have 8 sections. So if I wanted the probability of getting red, well, it would be 1, 2 sections out of 8. Reduce it to 1 out of 4. Okay? The complement, which is part of your vocabulary a while back, complement of that would be P is not red. Okay? Meaning the opposite. What else could happen? Not red. Well, let's look up here. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are not red. So 6 out of 8. And I reduced it down to 3/4. Okay? If you don't have a picture that you can count and you're just given the probability, say it said, oh, well, the probability of red is 1/4. What's the probability of it not being red? Well, you know the total is 4. The difference being 4 is the total minus the number that is equals the not red. So if there's 1 red, not red, would be 3, which is what we got here. Okay? So you just do a simple subtraction problem from your total to find your complement if you don't have a picture. If you have a picture, just count. Have a nice night.